All right, WNRD, here we are, 2018, Michael, the first episode, looking ahead to the new year. This is technically our third year working together, right? Because we started in 2016, then we did a full year of 17, and here we are, 18.
That's right.
So we just wrapped up the year in review for 2017, and we tried very hard to not talk about the stuff coming next, because that's what this show is all about. So we have a long list of things that we know are confirmed are coming out this year from our favorite franchises and studios, and looking forward to talking about them.
Yep, and just like with the 2017, we might not cover everything, only because we don't have the time to cover everything.
And some of them, and I'll say right now, Michael, too, that if there's something coming out that either I'm not interested in or I don't even know about or whatever, I'll just say, hey, that's not one that I'm really looking forward to, and then I'll let you say your piece, and so we can...
Yep.
Quick, we want to cover a lot of ground on this episode.
Exactly. We've got a lot of things. Some will get more coverage than others, but we're just going to kind of go through the list. We got a whole bunch of things we want to talk about. Some will be long, some will be short. So let's do it. Let's start with what we want.
Okay, so first we have, we're going to start with movies. So basically, I think we're going to set this up that we just talk about everything that's supposed to come out as a movie.
Okay.
But the first one on our list, and it's in no particular order, is the Han Solo movie.
Yep, Solo, which... not to disparage The Last Jedi, but that kind of put some water on my Star Wars fire.
Well, I think what's interesting here is that with the success of Rogue One, and I felt Rogue One was a better story and movie from a film sense as The Last Jedi, I think they have a nice cadence here where it's like, okay, a lot of us were disappointed about this. You know what we love, you know what we miss? The old characters, the old stories. So I think this is going to, more than anything, help the Solo movie, that people are going to be like, yeah, let me go back to someone I know and love that I trust.
And it's interesting that you say that, because it's hard for me to see anyone other than Harrison Ford as Han Solo. Now, mind you, this is the first time that we're seeing someone other than Harrison Ford play Han Solo,
yeah.
Which is funny because I had no problem with Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan in the prequels.
Right.
But he kind of looks like Alec McGinnis as a young man. You know?
And at that time, too, we only knew Obi-Wan as whatever, a 68-year-old man.
Right.
So then when we jumped back to seeing him at 25, whereas Han Solo, we knew him as he was in the original movies, 35 at most?
Something like that. Yeah,
so it's going to be a little bit tough. You're going to have to look past it initially, I think, and hopefully the story pulls us in.
I agree. I mean, I do have concerns only because, let's face it, the directors that were on this movie were booted off for creative reasons.
Yeah.
We don't know how far into shooting.
And that's happened a few times on some big movies recently.
Not Star Wars.
Right.
So, I don't know how far along they were. I don't know if they were a quarter of the way, halfway, three-quarters filming, but...
And I don't know if, Ron Howard, right, he's done some big movies, but...
He's done some really big, really good movies, but he's also done some really boring movies.
Exactly. So I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. So we'll see. One of the things I was thinking about the other day with this movie that I didn't realize is, we were talking about, well, is the next Star Wars story movie going to be Obi-Wan? Or I was saying, well, eventually we're going to have to get a Boba Fett one, right? But I didn't really leave myself open to the possibility that they may put Boba Fett in this movie.
Yeah, the two are very tied together.
Yeah, and eventually you got to start bringing them together, and it isn't just when he's hunted them down to put them in carbonite. I think it could be nice to plant a seed that they had some sort of a path that crossed in this film at this point in time.
That would make sense. I haven't seen any rumors about Boba Fett, but
that makes me even more think that it could happen.
Maybe they kept it under wraps. It's entirely possible. All I know is I should be more excited for this film than I am.
Well, you have the Last Jedi hangover right now. You weren't very happy with that one.
That is true, but I loved Rogue One, which is a standalone. So, but we also have what's his name now? I can't remember.
Lando?
Yeah, Lando, thank you.
Yeah.
Lando's going to be in this film. It has potential.
Yeah, no, I think so, because I think they're going to pull in, we know Lando, we know Han, and I think they're going to pull in 5 or 6 other characters that we know and love that we're just not aware of yet, and I think that's going to make it feel great. I mean, you may even, Darth Vader could very possibly be in it in scenes the same way he was in Rogue One.
There's rumors that Darth Vader shows up. I mean, how can he not?
Right. It's so, I think it's just the opportunity is there for them to hit a home run if they don't try too hard or try to get too tricky with it.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I'm obviously in The Last Jedi hangover, and you can comment and complain. Maybe you loved it. That's fine. I think we've well established where I sit on that movie. Um, my entire attitude could change the very second I see the first trailer, which has to be coming soon.
Right.
This movie comes out in May.
We haven't seen anything about it.
Right. So we're only 4+ months away. A trailer's gonna be coming. I would assume Super Bowl. So probably within the next month.
Yeah. That wouldn't surprise me. They got to let the hype of The Last Jedi die down. They don't want to double dip on their marketing efforts. So
exactly. So I expect Super Bowl at the latest. We'll see our first Han Solo trailer, and I will come back and I'll tell you how I feel then. Right now. Of course, it's Star Wars. Of course, I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
Of course,
we're all going off of conjecture and hope right now. On this
exactly.
movie. Yeah. Okay, so just moving down the list, we're going to jump all over the place here, basically. One of the next biggest book adaptations that I think people are excited about is Ready Player One.
Yeah. Loved the book. Loved it. Tore right through it. I forget, did you read it?
No, because in a previous episode, we had already talked about the kind of my reservations on the book. I probably going to wait to see the movie first, but we'll see how that goes.
That's fine. I will note the book is almost always better than the movie.
That's true.
For me, this one, I'm very excited, especially the last trailer that came out. I was the first trailer was cool, but I was hesitant. The last trailer that came out kind of assuaged some of my fears. The book was phenomenal, amazing. It was one of my favorite books that I've ever read. So it's hard for me not to be overhyped on this.
Yeah.
I already see myself being disappointed after watching it. And I don't want to be.
Yeah,
but I'm so excited because the book was so good.
To me, that's where I don't want to overhype this. I want it to be a pleasant surprise, and reading the book would just force me to hype it up more, and I already have so many, we're going to get into it, so many things I'm hyped about for this year.
And that's maybe that's the right approach. Maybe, obviously, if I could undo that. If I came into this movie not reading the book, I'm sure, I don't know, I'm already trying to give reasons as to why I'm not going to be happy with the movie.
Yeah, I mean, you're the way you feel about things in general. I'm going to put 10-1 odds that you're going to be disappointed by this movie.
That's pretty good odds.
Okay, Pacific Rim 2. That's coming out pretty quick, right? Is it February? Or it's not far away, if I'm not mistaken. But, giant mech versus giant kaiju movie, which I wouldn't say there's a lot of room for that genre in the market right now, but there's definitely enough room for this one. The first one I enjoyed. Looking forward to this one. John Boyega coming off of Star Wars. We're going to see if he can carry a different character or not.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can be someone other than Finn, which I'm thinking he will be. Have you ever seen Attack the Block?
No, but he was in that?
That was a movie.
Okay.
It was pre-Star Wars. That kind of went through his name out there.
Yep, that was a big one.
He was a strong role in that. Loved it. So I'm interested. I wouldn't say that I have to be there day one.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed Pacific Rim for what it was. It was fun. Kind of akin to King Kong, Skull Island.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't great cinema, but it was fun. It was a good popcorn movie.
Exactly. And that's what I expect this one to be, too. A nice sort of space filler between the other releases that are going to eventually come out. Maybe the next one on the list, at least...
Maybe let's loop these next 3.
Okay.
Because they're all the same universe.
Yeah, so we're getting into the Marvel Universe now. And probably the biggest, at least in the first quarter of the year, definitely the biggest thing I'm excited about is Black Panther.
I could not agree more. In fact, so we're going to talk about, we're talking about Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is kind of like a little mini trilogy for this year, because Black Panther is going to set up the exact moments right before, it's the last movie before Infinity War.
Right.
Then Infinity War, we know a lot of stuff is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of those repercussions we're definitely going to see in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah. And, Black Panther's always been one of my favorite characters. He's got the vibranium claws, and he's just amazing martial artist and strong and all this kind of stuff. His suit is almost like a Batman suit of sorts, kind of, I almost want to call it. But he's just one of my favorite characters, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the cast, the setting, and just all the design about it, the wardrobe, everything. I'm very excited for this movie. I think it's going to be a home run, and I think it's going to almost spin off Marvel movies in a sort of a new direction, the same way Guardians of the Galaxy did, in the same way that Ant-Man did. I think this is going to just help that franchise grow.
Exactly. And I just want to know, here we are in 2018. Had you told me 2-3 years ago that the most excited movie, like the most hyped, and the movie that you are most excited about in 2018 is going to be Black Panther, I would have said you're foolish.
Yeah.
There's no way that's going to happen. But what happened in 2016? He had a small but significant role in Civil War. And of the characters in that film, he was my favorite.
Yeah, he was the most interesting.
Yeah,
because he was new, but he also, the thing is with Black Panther, he's got a great sort of backstory.
He does. And on top of that, Civil War was fantastic. We already mentioned that was my favorite movie of 2016, I think. And I just have to say, I left that movie thinking, I need to know more about Black Panther.
Yeah. So he was in Civil War, and then he was in... Was there just was there an Avengers? Was he in the Avengers 2 or whatever? He's been in 2 movies now, right, as cameo appearances?
This is it. He was in Civil War.
So what was the last Avengers? He wasn't in the last Avengers movie?
Well, the last Avengers was Age of Ultron.
Okay, I was thinking there was
Civil
another
War
one.
Came out after.
I was thinking there was another one that I saw him in. But
we haven't seen him in Thor. We haven't seen him in Guardians of the Galaxy or Doctor Strange. Or Spider-Man. So no, this is his next appearance.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be amazing. The trailers looked great so far.
And sort of Avengers War looks great.
Yeah. Avengers Infinity War, like that one is almost like we've been hyped for that for probably 2 years now. So I don't want to underserve its importance, but I think we've been waiting for that one for a long time. So that one, because we've been waiting for so long, I almost feel like has a chance to disappoint, whereas Black Panther I think is going to be a home run.
Yeah, I have to say, so out of the 3 Marvel films, I know that Infinity War is the big one, the huge tentpole movie in the summer, that Marvel is probably going to make $1 billion on this movie easily. I'm excited for it, there's no question. But gun to my head, out of these 3 movies that are coming out for Marvel this year, I'm actually more excited about Black Panther.
Yeah, mine is too. I'm going to go see Black Panther on the day it's released. I don't know that I will for Infinity War, but Black Panther will have a lot to do with that.
Yeah, because if Black Panther's set right up into Infinity War, so if it sets it up well enough, we're like, I need to know what happens, because we've already seen in the last trailer, Infinity War is going to take place. A significant portion of the movie is going to take place in Wakanda.
Yeah,
so
the mysterious land of Wakanda.
Yes, so. Now, as far as Ant-Man and the Wasp, we know very little about this other than Paul Rudd's back and the Wasp is joining him this time. It's not just
the Wasp
Ant-Man.
finally has her suit. She's going to get into the mix now. And, we know it's going to bring some good comedy. The whole Honey, I Shrunk the Kids vibe is very awesome. And Ant-Man, it's something that's new and fun that, doesn't get explored enough, in my opinion. But so I'm really excited about that. It's all 3 of these I'm really looking forward to.
We don't know much about Ant-Man and the Wasp, and that's probably because we're going to see repercussions from Infinity War. And Marvel has been very tight-lipped, so much so that in 2019, we don't know the title of the next Avengers movie.
Yeah.
So my assumption is at least someone, if not someone, is going to die in Infinity War.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised about that.
Clearly not Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah, not those 2.
But for as little as we know about those films, I will just say this. The first Ant-Man movie came out when Age of Ultron came out. And though it didn't make near the amount of money that Age of Ultron did, for my personal preferences, Age of Ultron was not my favorite Marvel film. It's pretty low, actually.
Yeah, I remember more about Ant-Man than I do Age of Ultron.
I enjoyed Ant-Man more. Was it a better movie? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed Ant-Man more. So even though we don't know much about it, I'm not going to dismiss it just because I was very happy with the first one. And I'm very eager. I mean, it's Marvel, so I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, they're all going to deliver usually with Marvel, especially at this point in time. So switching gears a little bit over to Fox, and maybe we have our list out of order here. Maybe we'll pull some of these together here. But right now we have Deadpool 2, which Deadpool, probably the most successful Fox movie from a Marvel comic book so
if
far.
Not the most successful, definitely the most profitable, because they didn't spend a lot of money on it to make the film.
Yeah.
They spent good money.
I mean, for me, there's just a cloud hanging over this movie right now, only because I'm worried about this Disney-Fox merger and what it's going to mean to these Deadpool, any of the movies that come out from Fox in the next year or 18 months. Does it mean that they're eventually just going to get tossed in the trash heap and rebooted, or is Deadpool strong enough that they'll be able to keep running with it? That's just the cloud over these Fox movies for me right now.
So the thing about Deadpool that I'm curious about, so Tim Miller directed the first one, and it was a passion project for him. I mean, I don't know. So he basically filmed a small segment with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool that got quote unquote leaked to the internet.
Right.
That fans freaked out about. I loved it.
Yeah, said we got to have this.
And that scene's actually in the movie. Well, they've not that exact scene, but they recreated it with more money. And it's fantastic. So Tim Miller really wanted to do Deadpool. It was a great mix of action, over-the-top violence, and humor. So that was a huge success. Hard R, hilarious, perfect movie. He's not directing this one.
Right.
It's David. Is it David Leitch? Leitch? I don't know how you say his last name.
Yeah, I don't know either.
He was one of the co-directors of John Wick, which not a geek movie, but
right. That was well received as well.
Loved it. David Leitch and the guy he co-directed with, who was Chad Stileski, I think you say his name. They come from the Stuntman.
Yeah,
they were stunt directors. So John Wick, lots of action, loved it, lots of violence.
Yep.
The question is, are they going to be able to balance that awesome action with the humor that we want from Deadpool 2?
I want to say that I trust it there because I just think that Deadpool is there's so much already left in the well for them to pull from. Like the blueprint already exists in the comics to a T, and they've only done one movie. So as long as, like I said, they don't try to get too cute, they don't try to overthink it. It's there for them to hit a home run. So I hope that they just realize that, the first Deadpool, we just want Electric Boogaloo on this one, really. But then we're trying to bring in Cable, so that's what worries me a little bit. Like
Cable's not a funny character.
No, and it's a really sort of a complex storyline of how Cable exists in the universe. So I'm kind of like, well, this seems like something Fox is going to overcomplicate and screw up.
I have hope, only because what's the word I'm looking for? Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool is so irreverent.
Mm-hmm.
I can see him making some throwaway explanation as to who Cable and maybe taking 5-10 seconds to do it and making it hilarious, but also because unless you're a comic book geek, Cable is Scott Summers and Jean Grey's son that they sent to the future to be protected, and he was infected with a techno-organic virus, and that's why he has the weird cyborg eye and the cyborg arm. That doesn't make any sense unless you're a comic book reader.
Yeah, but I think they have the opportunity with Cable, and this depends on where Fox goes in the future with their X-Men franchise. Cable can be their Guardians of the Galaxy stepping stone for 5 or 6 other movies. X-Force, Mojo, all this kind of
X-Force.
stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's why it worries me, because it's such an opportunity that I just feel like in the X-Men movies they've squandered a lot of stuff. So, and I don't know what's going to happen with Fox and Disney. So I'm curious to see. I'm excited about that one. I think that one carries high importance because of those things floating around it.
And I have to admit, even though I brought it up, I have to admit, I'm a little bit. I am concerned whether or not they can carry the humor forward. However, I think we both recognize that Ryan Reynolds does a lot of improv, and a lot of those lines. I bet there's a ton of lines on the cutting room floor from Deadpool.
Yeah. Oh, and he plays a great Deadpool.
He's perfect for Deadpool.
So I think at least that he's still involved. I think he's very tied to the project as well, which will be good for the movie to turn out well.
So we don't have it listed next, but we already brought up the X-Men universe. So let's jump into those as well as we're talking about Fox. So let's talk about X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, so again, the X-Men franchise is kind of sputtered and stalled, and the car's still going down the road, but it's not running at its peak performance. That's one way to put it. So I'm excited about it because I have so much fond memories of all of these storylines of the old X-Men comics from the 90s.
Right.
They've partially delivered on the movies. Apocalypse was rushed. He should have been a 4 or 5 movie lead-in.
I still haven't watched Apocalypse.
The thing is, there's great moments in it, but then when you just compare it to what Star Wars is doing and to what Disney Marvel is doing, you're just like, it's just not on the same level. So
which is too bad. I loved First Class, and I loved Days of Future Past even more.
And just he didn't actually do a bad job, but it's just like Oscar Isaac, I don't think was the right person for that role.
Yeah, sometimes you're right. They might get a great actor.
He's a great actor. I love him as an actor. It's almost why I'm like, you don't need a great actor for Apocalypse, So, yeah, I don't want to dwell on that too much, but I just worry Dark Phoenix is going to be more of the same. And I don't know what's going to happen with Fox Disney in the future. At this point, I'm almost just waiting for a reboot.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to happen because right now, so Simon Kinberg, who's written a fair amount of the last few X-Men movies, is finally getting his chance in the director's seat on this one. So they got a new director, but then again, the last one wasn't that great.
I mean, First Class was good, I thought. I thought they had a chance there with like hitting the reset button and let's move forward from here. But then the couple after that were...
You didn't like Days of Future Past?
I didn't mind it, but it just... The way Days of Future Past moved into Apocalypse just wasn't...
No.
Well, it just didn't work for me.
So, coupled in that Fox X-verse, New Mutants. Which, are you familiar with New Mutants?
Yeah, I'm familiar with them from... Now, I think Marvel Comics has rebooted them once or twice. Like, I'm familiar with how they existed in the 90s.
Right. Eventually becoming X-Force.
Yeah, so I'm open to this being like Guardians of the Galaxy to me, hopefully, in the sense that when they announced Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know that this franchise, this team of people has enough equity in the comics for people to care. But then what they delivered was something that I'd never expected. So I'm hoping New Mutants has that same...
Have you seen the trailer?
I haven't.
You're in for a surprise. Because they've taken a turn on New Mutants that I don't think anyone expected or maybe even wants.
Yeah, I think you had sort of mentioned it at one point, but I didn't look into it.
Now, I'm not going to totally say the movie's going to suck because I obviously haven't seen it yet. But they've decided to go horror film with New Mutants.
Yeah.
Some kind of... They're mutants, but they're in an asylum of some sort. So it's a surprising and interesting take. I don't know. I'm not a movie exec, and I'm not a director or writer or producer. So I can't say whether or not I know I would go in that direction.
Yeah.
It's definitely a risk, but why not? I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah. Like I said, at this point,
it's definitely not I have to be there day one.
Yeah.
But I'll listen to the buzz. I might jump in.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, I think these films have to have strong tie-ins to... really strong tie-ins to the X-Men. Like, what happens in those movies have to affect the next X-Men movies for me to like them.
And part of that is hard because now that we know that Disney is acquiring Fox,
right,
is all this for naught? Are they just going to hit the reboot button at some point?
Exactly. These might all be lame duck movies at this point in time. So, okay, so if we keep moving, what does that bring us to? Shifting gears a little bit.
After we're going to jump back up to Fantastic Beasts.
Yes, The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Which I'm going to let you run with this one. I am not a Harry Potter fan.
I'm not either. So
but you saw the last one.
A few people are going to cringe at that, but yeah, I did see the last one, Fantastic Beasts, and I liked it. It didn't knock my socks off, but I liked it to the point where I'm like, if they came out with another one, I would watch it. Still to this day, I haven't watched any of the Harry Potter ones. The original Harry Potter.
Here's the next one. So you're going to be there?
Well, not opening weekend, but unless there's nothing else that weekend, and my wife will probably want to see this one.
Is she the Harry Potter fan?
Sort of, not big time, but she was the one that wanted to go see the first Fantastic Beasts, and I was on board because I could even tell from the trailer and stuff, it didn't feel like the Harry Potter sort of kids movie, as almost I want to call it. But
right.
So, yep, I'm excited to see where this one goes. I shouldn't say excited. I'm a level down from excited, a level up from indifferent.
You're like, okay.
The Predator.
I think you and I can both say, I know for me, this one's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, very near and dear. When we had our argument in the past, I put Predator above Aliens to me.
Which is fine.
Yeah, but they've kind of sputtered and stalled with the Predator franchise as well. But it's almost like I don't expect the Predator at this point to be 20 movies long and a big giant storyline like I do Marvel. I'm willing to accept some one-hit wonders from Predator, so I don't know what we're going to get here.
Well, I think the first one was a surprise, way back in the late 80s. And really, it wasn't a sci-fi film. It was an Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicle.
Yeah, but I think they were they sort of got lucky on... that's the best Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from those days. Outside of... I would even put it ahead of the first Terminator, but not Terminator 2.
No, you can't. No, you're right. It was a fun Arnold movie. I know, but it was enough to grab my attention.
Well, what do you know about this one? I don't know anything about this newest one. Do you know anything about it?
I do. So it's directed and written by Shane Black, which may not mean anything to you.
I've heard his name, so what has he done?
He wrote and directed Iron Man 3.
Okay.
But also, Shane Black was Hawkins in Predator.
Okay. The guy that gets hit by the log.
No, no,
No. He's the guy with the glasses, the big as a house.
Yes. Nice self-editing there. I like that. He was brought into the film, actually. I forget the exact reasoning. Because they weren't happy with the script.
Yeah.
So they basically, John McTiernan, I want to say, brought in Shane Black, made him part of the cast, so that way he could rewrite the script on set because he was known.
Well, it's kind of funny because thinking back, like he was the misfit of their group of mercenaries.
Yes. He wrote the original Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, okay.
I think probably the sequel too. So he was always known as a excellent scriptwriter in Hollywood, an occasional actor.
Mm-hmm.
So he is tied back to the original Predator.
Yeah.
Because he was in it and helped polish the script.
So hopefully he knows what worked in that movie.
Right. So I'm hoping, don't get me wrong, Iron Man 3, way, way, way better than Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't want to get too much into it. I say that phrase often. Standalone, Iron Man 3 is a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it is.
It really doesn't fit well with its ending into the greater Marvel universe.
Yeah.
But if they stop doing Iron Man movies there, it fits.
Right.
But they didn't stop with Tony Stark, obviously. So I have high hopes for this. They got an all-star cast, including Olivia Munn.
Okay. Do you know roughly when it comes out? Middle of the year, end of the year, early?
I want to say it's a summer release. I think it was originally supposed to be a spring release, but now I'm not sure. I want to say it, according to Wikipedia, set to release August 3rd, 2018.
Okay, so that's third quarter. So we got a ways to go yet on that one. So
now it's a sequel. So it's
sequel to what though?
It's a sequel to the original.
To the original.
Yes.
But just going off on a rant here, I'm curious that I like the original, but the original alien gets blown to smithereens, and Arnold's not coming back through the door. Arnold's not getting back on that chopper. So, what is that going to mean?
It's funny. There's been rumors off and on as to whether or not. I guess they offered Arnold a cameo.
Oh God! Well, I wouldn't mind a little cameo.
You know what? At this point,
as long as he's not trying to carry the movie.
Exactly. If we saw him come back as an old and grizzled Dutch,
right. I wouldn't mind that.
Just wanted to say something like, you don't know who you're messing with, or something like that. I don't know, something to kind of give some kind of warning to the rest of the people.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that as long as he's not carrying it. But then I'm just curious to what the sequel is going to be. Because Predator 2 was the sequel, but it was, so I'm curious. Let's see what happens.
It'll be curious to see how much they ignore of Predator 2, which really Predator 2 didn't really change much.
No, you don't need to ignore it, really.
All we got was a better look at some of the weapons.
Yeah, and we understood more and it was in the future. That Predator 2 must have been, 50 years fast forward ahead in time?
I think it was only like 10, maybe 15.
Well, are you sure? Because they were pretty far in the future in that movie, I thought, at the time. Wasn't it like 2020 or something?
I don't know, man. I didn't think it was that far ahead, but I could be wrong. So I don't know if this was to be set current time or what.
But anyways,
Predator takes place in 1997.
Okay.
But the movie came out in 1990. So it was the future to them, 7 years in the future.
Wait, Predator 2 was set in 97?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was further ahead than that. Okay. Yeah, exactly. But it was set in the future, so.
So anyway, for what it's worth, I liked Predators. I think I won't get into it because we've covered this.
We did the
whole franchise. So I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I'm excited too. I always am when Predator comes around. So, okay, next one. I've heard of it, but I think you're more familiar with it. Maybe A Wrinkle in Time.
This one is more of I don't want to say an oddity, but I'm curious about it just because. So, A Wrinkle in Time. Are you familiar with the book?
Is this a Disney movie?
Yes.
Okay, then it is one I'm thinking of.
So they put a fair amount of money into it. It's a novel that came out in 1962 by. I'm going to screw up the name because it's French, but it's Madeleine L'Engle, I think.
Wait, is this the one with Oprah in it?
Yes.
Okay.
The gist is the father has something to do with reality and dimensions and stuff, and he gets lost or something, and his daughter goes to look for him. And it's very trippy, very good. Like I said, the book's been lauded for a long time. Came out in 1962. I have to admit, I did not read it, but it has very strong female characters.
Yeah.
So I think I own the books, and I might want to read them before the movie comes out just to kind of get an idea for it. I've seen both trailers that have come out, and it is very, very trippy, and Disney has put a bunch of money into this. But I don't know much about it, and the trailers aren't really telling me a super lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I only saw one trailer, and I didn't really know what to think of it, and I haven't read the book either. You know, the thing that I have saw, it is very early at this point, but I mentioned, like, I was worried that Valerian was giving me, like, a little bit of a John, what was that movie called? John Smith, John so-and-so from Mars or whatever from Disney.
John Carter from
Mars. I was getting the same feel from that. I was getting a feel from it as Jupiter Ascending, you know, this kind of stuff. This, I'm almost like, is this going to be another Tomorrowland? Like Disney's Tomorrowland movie? Which was sort of interesting, but...
I enjoyed Tomorrowland, but no one else saw it.
Yeah. No, I thought
it wasn't great.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. But it's sort of like, when Disney does these big releases, I think we have high hopes, high expectations from Disney, and they can't all be home runs, but we'll see what happens with this one.
I'm curious, because you make a good point. Disney has a track record of spending a bunch of money on pretty flops. One of which being World of Tomorrow, John Carter of Mars. I'm not saying there isn't a fan base for this movie. There is. But there was a fan base for the John Carter of Mars movies, too. And that didn't show up. So could this be another pretty failure for Disney? I don't know. I don't plan on seeing it in the theater, to tell you the truth.
No, I don't think I will either. I'm more curious to just see what the buzz is about it after it comes out.
Correct.
Okay, so moving along, Annihilation. So this was a big. I mean, I didn't know about the books until after I saw it, but this was a big trailer launch at Star Wars. So anybody that went and saw Star Wars saw the trailer for this movie.
Yep, and basically all you need to know, well, not taken away from the books, this is by the same writer and director of Ex Machina.
Okay.
Which I loved.
Yeah.
So right there, you've got my interest.
Yeah, me as well. The trailer, the beginning of the trailer really had me hooked, but then when I saw some of the effects, they were looking a little too saccharine, as you would say. So I don't know. I don't want to make any judgments too early. I know my wife saw the trailer and was really intrigued. She went out and got the first book. And
really?
Started reading it. She's not sure yet if she wants to finish out the series or not, but which I don't know if that's a good omen or a bad omen that she was intrigued by. Her and I usually don't get intrigued about the same things very often. So I'm curious about this one.
So am I. I mean, it's got a good cast. You got Natalie Portman, Oscar Isaac. So
right, cast looks good.
Cast looks good. We know the writer/director can do good things with sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm willing to check this out. I obviously haven't seen it yet, but my first impression after seeing that trailer is, could this be this year's Arrival?
What's the redhead's name? From Arrival.
Well, that's Amy Adams, but no,
Amy Adams. Yes. She's okay. For some reason, I thought she was in it, but
it's Natalie Portman and Jennifer. I can't remember her name. Jennifer Lee.
Okay. Yeah, I'm same thing. I'm hoping that this is sort of a nice surprise that falls outside of the realm of all of our known franchises and sort of comes out of nowhere and is a great movie. So I'm excited about it. That may be the surprise hit of the season. After that, going back to Disney. Hopefully this should be another one of Disney's big ones. I think it's something a lot of people have been waiting for. Disney Pixar is Incredibles 2.
I know I've been waiting for it because of the Pixar movies, this could be my favorite, The Incredibles.
Yeah, almost all of the Pixar movies are great. And even the ones that aren't great are good.
Even Cars?
So I said almost. But I think, Cars, though, kids love Cars. You know what I mean? So
that's true,
it doesn't appeal to adults as much, but kids absolutely love that movie.
Disney would not have made two high cost sequels if they weren't making money. They're for kids, though.
Yeah, Cars definitely is.
That's a quick little tangent here on Pixar. They're always for kids, but sometimes...
Yeah, usually they cross over.
Right. I mean...
And Incredibles crossed over a lot. And that's,
It's up there for me. Up there for me. That's an unintentional pun. Up and Incredibles are probably my two favorite Pixar movies of all time. Depending on my mood and what I'm watching at the time, it can flip-flop which one's the top. Either Incredibles or Up. I will say this, though. Incredibles is by far the best Fantastic Four movie that's ever been.
Yeah. I guess you're right there. So Incredibles 2, I don't have high hopes. I may not see it in the theater, but I'm assuming it's going to be good. The Pixar movies, I can't keep up with them anymore with my Star Wars books and work and other things that we're into, TV and Netflix. It's hard for me to stay on top of these Pixar releases, even though I know they're usually always good. So I don't know if I will eventually see this movie, but
Exactly. I don't know when I'm going to see it. Well, there's a lot of stuff coming out now, geek-wise,
yeah.
I know I have to see those 3 Marvel movies, Black Panther, Avengers, Ant-Man. I have to see Solo and Ready Player One. I'm at 5 movies already planning on seeing next year. Which,
and God forbid if there's a new Metal Gear or something that comes out that you love to play.
Metal Gear?
Well, what the hell games that you play?
Call of Duty.
Yeah, the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
Okay, so moving on into the realm of the shitty movies.
We don't know this.
No, DC is going to be releasing Aquaman, which I think everybody, for the most part, loves Jason Momoa. Everybody's ready to move on from Justice League.
Yes.
Aquaman is, I would say, one of DC's tentpole characters. What that means, I don't know, but he is. It has the potential to be good. I mean, as long as the effects are good. Obviously, there's a lot to be explored with his ability to work with the creatures of the sea. If they play that the right way, it could be really good.
I almost wish this podcast was a video, just so I can instantly insert that snippet from Family Guy with Aquaman sitting in the water. Hey, you better stop that. Oh, he starts throwing fish at him. Oh, man, you're not going to like what I'm doing now.
Yeah, you can't come out of the land. So,
which is probably not fair.
I would love to see Aquaman be sort of a left hook knockout punch in the way that Wonder Woman was, and get DC back on the map.
I would like that too, but is Aquaman going to be that character?
I know if it was done right, it can be, but we're talking about DC here, so
I know that Aquaman does have his fans. Joe Becker, who did 2 episodes ago with us. You know what? The only thing I see about Jason Momoa, however you say his name, I screw it up every time. He has given us a different Aquaman than we're used to.
Well, he looks like what we'd expect. What's the god of the sea? Poseidon. Like, he looks like what we expect Poseidon to look like.
Yeah. He's not the Aquaman we're used to.
Yeah.
But I will give him. He has a fan base. They're doing something with Aquaman, which, admittedly, if he was wearing all orange and green, I'd probably be like, nope. So I'm not 100% against this movie, but number one, it's a DC film.
Yeah, and I hope they don't work with the same studio that did the visual effects on Justice League. If they are, I'm out already.
So it's a DC film that's not Wonder Woman. So that's the strike. But I will give it this. It's being directed by James Wan, who I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Are you familiar with James Wan? He helped create Saw, which
was interesting.
The first one, yes. But he also
probably didn't need 6 of them, but
no. But he's also done the Conjuring, Insidious, and he's shown he can do action. He did Furious 7, which I think last episode you made a face at me from.
Yeah, no, you're not selling me on this guy.
But all I'm saying is he can do action. Okay.
Yeah. At least it's sounding like he may do something that's off in a different direction than what DC.
He's not a one-note director. He's shown he can do horror. He's shown he can do action. Let's see what he can do with Aquaman. I may not be there day one, but
I'm open to being there day one if the trailers deliver, but
yes,
that's a slim chance.
I am there for being there day 3. I want to see how the trailers do. I want to hear the buzz. I want to hear what your take is on it. So maybe day 7.
Yeah,
but
we'll see. I would like Aquaman to be good. The past few DC movies, like Suicide Squad and Justice League and whatever is coming next, I really don't care about. I would like Aquaman to be good. I have hope for it to be good.
Yes.
Okay, last one on our list, unless we think of some that we forgot about. The next installment of Jurassic Park, which apparently is called Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Yep. Jurassic World is kind of divisive, I think. I loved it. I didn't expect to love it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was probably the best Jurassic Park / World movie since the original.
Yeah,
it's my second favorite.
I would go there too. That's not a super high bar, but I would agree with that.
I mean, it's hard to beat. I mean, it came out almost 25 years ago now, Jurassic Park. I mean, the first time I saw dinosaurs on the screen and it looked real.
Yeah, I mean, that
blew my mind.
Exactly.
That was 25 years ago now.
Yeah, we all just wanted dinosaurs at that point, and we got them, so that was a home run. But it was Spielberg, so
yeah, it was fantastic. And now they've done some inferior sequels, even though Jurassic Park 2 was done by Spielberg. It was
I mean, two was a tale of two movies, just like the Peter Jackson King Kong was. Like, I loved it when they were out at the island, But once they brought it into the city, just like King Kong, I was like, I didn't care about it. But they still had a good cast, so that one was 50-50. Then 3 was not bad, but still.
I think I actually technically liked 3 better than 2.
I didn't dislike 3 as a whole movie. I probably liked it better than 2 as well.
But they tried to change things up with the Spinosaur and making that the big bad instead of the T-Rex.
Yeah, that I didn't care for that. And then in Jurassic World, we get another alpha version of a T-Rex. Like, that's what I'm sick of. Like, you could just keep doing it with the normal dinosaurs we know. You don't have to keep creating mutated versions.
I have to admit, I liked I'm going to go the other way on this. I liked the genetically modified dinosaur because there was one scene in Jurassic World where I jumped.
Yeah.
When the dinosaur had kind of camouflaged itself.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it moved. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not that I disliked it. I didn't think Jurassic Park needed that gimmick.
I agree with you. I can see that. But I will, like I said, I jumped in Jurassic World. I mean, not Jurassic World, Jurassic Park. The whole cup and the dropping. Yeah. Then all of a sudden the goat gets dropped on the car.
Is Jeff Goldblum coming back in this one?
Yes, but he's already warned people it's an extended cameo.
Oh, okay.
So don't get super excited that Dr. Ian Malcolm's back for the whole run.
What I like about Jurassic Park the most is the parts that it makes you feel like that it's an actual amusement park. That aspect of it is what I like, and maybe it's because that's what I fell in love with of the first movie. When it branches out too far, it loses a little bit for me. But Jurassic Park is one where I'm always going to be willing to give them my money and give them the benefit of the doubt until they prove otherwise.
I had some friends that absolutely hated Jurassic World, which I get. I don't hate The Last Jedi. I'm on that disappointed side. So there are people that think it's the greatest Star Wars movie ever. So Jurassic World, I really, really liked it. Like I said, second best Jurassic Park / World movie. So I get what that feeling is. For some people, just thought no. Now that said, I have almost no interest in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when we talk about all the other stuff we're talking about that we're hyped up about, if we don't have much info on it, it's hard to get as hyped about it as we are about Black Panther, which is coming out in 40 days. So let's just see how things play out. After we've seen 4 or 5 movies on this list and we know more about this one, it may shoot up the charts. We'll see.
Well, part of the trailer recently came out, and it didn't do it for me. So,
and the first trailers are always hit or miss, right? You never know. So, all right, let's jump into TV, and we'll pick up the pace here a little bit. And we don't have as much stuff in TV. We could go quite deep down this realm, but we're trying to stick with some highlights here. So, leading off again with Star Wars. So, Star Wars Rebels will have its series finale in the first, from what I've heard, the first half of this year, 2018. From all I've heard, it will either at the very end or near the end will sort of cross over, at least in timeline, with Rogue One, if not in the actual storyline. So that's going to be really exciting to see where that series eventually leads, and then that series is done, and then we'll open up the window for another new series. So that would be a good time for you to, once it's all said and done, right, you jump in on the whole thing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Now it's done. I don't have to wait anymore. So I know Netflix, I think, already has the episodes.
Actually, I don't know if they do or not, but maybe they do. Maybe the first couple seasons, which I'm not worried about those because I've already seen them. But
once they're all out there, I can start digging through them.
Depending on how the Thrawn book goes for you, you can lead into, there's I always want to call it A New Hope, but it's not called A New Hope, obviously. It's something similar to that, but there's a novel, Star Wars novel, that is basically the backstory of the 2 main Rebel characters in the Rebel series.
Okay.
And then it leads into the Rebels animated series, which then leads into Rogue One, which then leads into A New Hope. So you could run that thread if you wanted to.
Interesting. So yeah, I know Alan's excited about this show. I can't say that I am because I've only watched a handful of episodes.
And to be fair, it's not... 40% of it you're probably not going to care about. There is a lot of kid-friendly episodes that you can tell they're put in there for the kids.
It's made for the kids.
But
that's the next generation.
It does have redeeming value to the old stories that we know and love. And then, as you know, Thrawn is in there, so it's...
I'm going to say I'm excited about this just because, like you said, because it's ending.
Yes.
I can now sit down and tear through them.
Yep. Okay, Stranger Things 3.
We know that's coming out. We know nothing about it at this point. We know that they want to go at least 4 seasons.
Yeah, we've talked about season 2 a few times now, so I think this will be, again, very curious. I'm sure we're all going to watch it the first weekend.
Oh yeah. I'll tear right through it. We don't know anything about the release date. I'm assuming it's going to be October-ish.
Yeah.
But we don't know that. We know that the big monster survived,
Mm-hmm.
and really that's all we know. But that said, I'm still geeked.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. More music as well. Sticking on Netflix, jumping to Marvel, The Defenders. We know we have Luke Cage season 2 coming. Jessica Jones season 2 is coming this year, and I think Defenders 2 is going to be this year as well.
I haven't heard anything on Defenders 2.
Maybe I'm making that up. I thought I had heard that, but
definitely Luke. So we know for sure we have Iron Fist season 2,
Mhm.
Luke Cage season 2, and Jessica Jones season 2.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about 2/3 of those.
yeah. Well, you haven't even watched Iron Fist, so
That's why I'm only excited about 2/3. I will watch Iron Fist. Maybe later this year I'll be excited. 3 for 3.
yeah. So I give those like B- to B+ grades. All of those series. They're not going to give you what the movies give you, obviously, but I
No.
think they're relatively well done. So I'll be checking them out as they come.
I've heard that Kilgrave
Yeah.
is somehow coming back for
Mhm.
Jessica Jones. So I'm intrigued because I was like, where are they going to go with Jessica Jones? Because really the whole first season.
Well, and then at some point
Was
too,
about him.
whether it's Daredevil or whatever, Kingpin has to come back in.
I see Kingpin coming back in The Punisher when they do season 2.
Yeah, maybe. So, like I said, I see those at worst being C+ grades and at best even B+ grades. So it's worth checking out.
What do you see as a C+ grade?
I didn't care for Jessica Jones.
See, I loved it.
Now, I'm not saying I didn't like it. To me, C+ is above average. I'm just not. I've never been invested in her character, and even I think the actress who plays her, I think, is a good actress.
Oh, she's great.
But just the way that the character is written is kind of annoying to me. Like sort of apathetic. I just get annoyed with characters like that over time.
I like characters like that. So
They're nice in the mix. Don't get me wrong, but a whole series of her and that attitude, it gets old. So it was a little bit of a tough road to hoe for me to make it through that whole season.
okay,
But it C+. That's what I gave that one.
okay, I would do higher, but that's just me.
Yeah. If you eventually ever see Iron Fist, you're probably going to have the inverse feeling that I have on Iron Fist, which is, it's not terrible, but it has some redeeming value. So, I don't know, does that wrap that up there? Anything you want to say there?
I'm going to Marvel, but we are going to stick with one more Netflix show. Show we know very, very little about.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious. Lost in Space on Netflix.
So this, as a throwback, is before my time.
Oh,
So
it's before my time. It was the 60s.
I have no vested interest here. You know, I watch a lot of space-based things, so I don't know how much room there is for another one if it's not done well. But wasn't the original Lost in Space sort of kind of hokey comedy kind of thing, or
I wouldn't say
Flash Gordon-y kind of feel?
not that, more camp.
Okay.
So more like
Like that stupid show that
the Batman from the 60s. More
yeah,
like
but what's
that.
the new one that came out that's supposed to be like Star Trek, but it's the guy from Family Guy?
Oh,
Like,
yes.
is it going to be that?
The Orville. No, I don't think it's going to be that. No, I think they're going to go straight sci-fi in this one.
Okay. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, the thing with Netflix, you can jump into it right away, and if you don't like it, you just move on to something else. So,
It comes out in May, and it's 10 episodes long. So it doesn't look like they're going to... I'm looking it up here right now. So same kind of thing. It's the gist of the first one. They get lost in space. They're thrown, light years away from Earth, trying to get back. Basically, it sounds very similar to the premise to Star Trek Voyager.
Mhm.
Star Trek Voyager, which, again, was a riff on the original Lost in Space.
Yeah.
So, here, because we know so little about it, it's hard to get excited. But I will say this. Netflix is doing much more original content and is throwing millions and millions of dollars in this stuff.
yeah.
Their production values are high. They want to keep people watching Netflix.
Yep.
And though I only watched the first episode of Star Trek Discovery, which we'll get to in a sec, a lot of that money came from Netflix because Netflix has the international distribution rights. So they know how to put money into a sci-fi show, which we've seen in Stranger Things, but this is a different sci-fi.
Yeah.
You need special effects and whatnot. So I'm hopeful. I love sci-fi. I want good sci-fi. So if Netflix can bring us a new version of Lost in Space that's interesting, sure, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big name. It's a big franchise from the past. I'm indifferent on it, but we'll see what happens.
Did you ever see the movie reboot?
Was it like Tim Allen in that? Who was?
No, you're thinking of
Thinking of
Galaxy Quest, which I love for other reasons. No, they did a Matt LeBlanc.
Oh, even worse. Jesus.
For what it's worth, William Hurt was in it too.
I do remember.
Mimi Rogers.
I need anything where somebody sat there and said, you know what, we love Joey from Friends. We need a vehicle for him, and we think this is it.
It wasn't focused on it.
Anyways, I haven't seen that. I'm just shitting all over it because I want to. Okay, HBO. So Westworld 2 is coming out in 2018.
This is all you.
Yes, so you haven't seen Westworld.
I don't have HBO, so.
Well, you have all kinds of other stuff. All I gotta do is pay for it for $15 and watch it, man.
Nope.
So Westworld was very critically acclaimed. I loved it, even though when it first came out, I was like, well, I hear this is supposed to be good, but I wasn't really sold on it. Finally watched the first episode 6 weeks into the series, and then I was hooked. My wife was hooked as well. The way it ended opened up a lot of doors for them to go in the future. So to me, this is all about where do they go? Do they bring it back to the timeline they were really following, the path they were following in season 1, or does it branch off in sort of a crazy way? I'm excited for it. It'll be must-watch viewing for me. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. The time in between the seasons has sort of slowed it down for me, but I know when it's about to come, it'll be a nice, pleasant surprise, and I'll be ready to jump into it.
Everything I've seen about Westworld, it tickles the sci-fi geek interests that I have. So I don't know why. I just haven't watched it because I don't have HBO.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, you need to, because I would say of the series that we've discussed and watched in the past, let's say 3 years, this one is top 3 to me. Production value, story, acting, just all across the board is just so much better than so much other stuff that we both also enjoy.
Right. It's something I need to check out, and I'm sorry that I haven't.
I mean, it's probably on DVD now, or Blu-ray, or streaming, or whatever. You don't even need HBO to watch the first season.
I'm so bad, but if it's not on Hulu, Netflix, or Amazon Prime, I'm not paying.
Didn't you go buy like a $3 Batman vs. Superman Blu-ray the other day?
It was $3.
$3 for garbage, though. So if you extrapolate that out and you pay, $30 for something that's amazing, $3 is still a waste of money on Superman versus Batman. I'm sorry.
Wow, that was too much, huh? You've seen it. You went and saw it in the theater, didn't you?
No, where did I see it? No, I saw it on a plane, I think.
Oh, so you didn't spend any extra money.
Yes, no, we talked about this because I was a captive audience. I couldn't go anywhere. I was stuck on a 14-hour flight.
Wow, so you saw it for free, and you think $3 is still too much. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, at least you paid for the packaging at that point.
That's basically it.
Okay, so, we got to get you on Westworld. Amazon, apparently, I've listed here, has Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams.
All right, so I bring this one up. If you're a geek, you probably already know who Philip K. Dick is. If you don't, he was a sci-fi writer. He wrote Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Right, that's what I was like, in my head, I had these two things confused.
Right.
Which, that became the movie AI, right?
No, Blade Runner.
Oh, okay. Didn't he write something that also became AI from Spielberg?
Probably.
Anyways, yeah.
He wrote a lot of sci-fi.
Yeah, he's like the godfather of modern sci-fi, the way we see it.
Right, and unfortunately he died before anything really awesome came of his work.
Yeah.
So, short version is, this is basically Amazon's version of Black Mirror.
Okay.
It's a series. It's not an episodic series. It's like Black Mirror. It's sci-fi, but standalone.
Standalone episodes.
I don't know much more than that.
I'm looking forward to that. The only thing is, like your HBO thing, like anything that's on an Amazon service, I just won't get to see.
You don't have Amazon Prime?
No.
What?
So it's just one of those things like, you're already paying for a few things. I can only, I might shift some things around and I'm not subscribing to one. I'll jump on that. But as of right now, there's not enough to get me to get onto the Amazon streaming services.
$15 a month for HBO, but you won't pay.
I'm not paying anything for HBO right now. I only turn it on when the good shows are on.
Oh, so you're not even paying at all?
No, I pay like $30 or maybe, let's say, maybe $60 a year for HBO because I turn it on when Game of Thrones is on, I turn it on when Westworld is on, and then I turn it off.
Smart man.
Yeah.
for me, the Amazon Prime shows that come out are an added bonus. I pay for Prime because I buy a lot of stuff.
I almost buy enough to make it worthwhile, but not quite enough.
I literally, for the record, I don't get a commission from Amazon on this. But just my dog food, okay?
Oh, yeah.
My dog food is $7 less per bag than if I go somewhere else to get it.
Yeah.
So if I get that delivered over a course of a year, that's what, $84?
Mm-hmm.
That Amazon subscription is $99.
Yeah.
So just my dog food alone, it pretty much pays for itself.
Right.
So for me, like I said, I'll check it out just because I have it. And I love good sci-fi. And it's sometimes easier to do good sci-fi in small chunks like this.
Twilight Zone kind of thing.
Exactly. Or Black Mirror. Exactly. Same kind of thing. Because you don't have to invest yourself fully into a whole TV series, a whole movie.
The Arrival, Arrival that we loved, was just a short story.
Right. Exactly. So, and they've got good actors involved, good directors involved. So, why not? I'll give it a shot.
Okay. Back to another Marvel franchise, right? Or DC,
it's still Marvel.
Marvel, I thought so.
But Marvel is now spreading its wings. Whereas, obviously, the more, I say adult, maybe more mature is the right answer. They do the more mature Marvel shows.
Yeah. And I was going to say, when I saw the channel that's tied to this, made me pretty much assume that it's not for me, but go ahead.
Well, I think it's more geared to the tweens and teens because Freeform was Fox Family, then ABC Family. Now it's Freeform.
Mm-hmm.
So they're definitely they're spreading their wings. Marvel's putting a little bit here and there. Like I said, the more mature stuff's on Netflix. They've got Runaways, which is very teen-centric.
And this seems like
Hulu.
Putting this series on Freeform seems to be combating one of the only series or areas that DC has been successful in is that sort of teenager, tween sort of stuff with the. Don't they have a bunch of those shows? Isn't it more The Flash and some of those shows on CW geared toward that audience more?
Well, the CW itself used to be teen central. Now I'm wondering, because now they have got so many of those Arrowverse shows.
Yeah.
Well, they still is kind of that. They still have Riverdale and they have shows like that.
Yeah.
I would say the CW has shifted less from being teen central to being more genre central, because they got the Arrowverse, they've got the 100.
Yeah, we talked about that. Outside of those shows, like what do they have? That's what they have, basically.
But so Cloak and Dagger, if you're not familiar, is based on the Marvel comics. The version of the comics is that they're mutants, so I don't know if they can call them mutants in this because once again, Fox owns the term mutants for their film series. But it's basically light and dark. A woman and her friend, they end up. I think in the comics they're forced to inject themselves with drugs by this gang, and it activates their latent mutant abilities. Hers that she becomes Dagger, where she throws light daggers at people, and he becomes Cloak, who has an access through his cloak. He has access to another dark dimension, and he has dark powers. And they kind of the beginning and the yang, and the other side of each other's coin. It'll be interesting where they go with this. It looks like they're based on the trailers. It's going to be focused very much on teenage angst.
Yeah,
that aspect of it. But I'm willing to give it a shot. And it's on Freeform, so it's free.
Yeah, see, that's the thing with you. You're happy to watch something that's average for free versus paying for something that's good, it seems.
Funny enough, I don't pay for Hulu.
Well, somebody's paying for it.
Someone's paying for Hulu. I borrow it just to watch Runaways.
Which, is another show that's probably not worth paying for. So, I agree with you there, probably.
No, Runaways is decent, but I wouldn't pay that much for it.
Okay, the last one, which is, again, Star Trek Discovery. I don't see myself paying for CBS Online anytime soon. I don't see myself paying for any Star Trek franchises either. Yeah. Just don't have the time or money to invest in Star Trek. But
right, we just threw this up there because, it's coming out. I watched the first episode. I enjoyed it. There are people that love it.
And there was a buzz around the first few episodes. I remember hearing, on random TV shows and radio shows talking about the pilot.
Right, and they've already been renewed for a second season. I'm curious how that's going to do because, they got a bunch of front money from from Netflix for the international rights to do the first season. I don't know if that's going to continue with the second season. So, I'm interested. I'd like to watch the show, but just like you said, I'm not going to pay for another streaming service.
Yeah.
For one show. if this was something that, if it was on a streaming service where they had multiple shows that I wanted to watch,
Right.
yes.
And we're getting to that point, right? At some point, some of these streaming services are going to have to gel together because nobody wants to pay for 17 different things because then we're right back to paying the same we were for cable. So
Exactly. And you know what? I have no desire to watch episodes of The Good Wife.
Yeah.
Commercial free. Oh.
Yeah, it's like if we didn't want the free stuff for free, we're not going to want to pay for your CBS service. Like we could get it for free if we wanted. So
Right. So more Star Trek Discovery in 2018. I'd like to check it out, but I can't pay for another service.
Right. Yeah. Me too. So that pretty much wraps up the stuff that we were going to talk about looking ahead to 2018. Some big name stuff there and some stuff that we're excited about. And like I said, there's probably lots of stuff coming in the tail end of the year that we haven't even gotten much intel on yet. But it's action-packed. Definitely a lot of stuff in the first half of the year we're excited about.
So now that we've talked about all this stuff, gun to your head, out of all these things that are coming out in 2018, what are you most excited about?
Got to be Solo by default.
Really? You're sticking with the Star Wars?
I don't think you fully comprehend how committed I am to Star Wars.
You're right, because I'm literally inches away from an AT-AT or AT-AT or Snowwalker, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Right next to my head. There's another one on the table. There's a droideka over there. There's a Falcon. I also see a Predator and Thing and Cable. Cable?
Yeah, there's a Cable over there and a Professor X. I mean,
yes.
Black Panther is a close second at this point. Don't get me wrong.
You're that excited for Solo.
But yeah, because it's Star Wars, man.
So basically, you put Star Wars on there, it leaps to the front no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, until they lay like 5 eggs in a row, then it's always going to leap to the front. Don't get me wrong, Marvel is putting up a heck of a fight to even, be considered in the same arena for sure. Without the Marvel movies, what they've been doing the past few years, nothing else was even close. But
right. See, I can't give the rubber stamp just because it has Star Wars on it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I will see it.
Yeah.
I love Star Wars. Even after the last film, I will still go see stuff. Opening night. I have to see it opening night.
And no, don't get me wrong. I mean, even the Solo movie with Ron Howard, I was and like you touched on. Well, it's a new actor. Even I was kind of like, well, I don't know how good this is going to be. But I know I felt that same way about Rogue One. It was phenomenal. And I'm more and more open now to the idea that, you know what are they going to do with Lando? Boba Fett might pop up. Darth Vader might pop up. Like, there's all this stuff that's like, Star Wars has so many ace up their sleeves that they can just play, and I'll end up loving it. So I'm assuming that's going to happen.
Okay. Well, I'm going to...
So gun to your head for you is what, Black Panther?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
That's my number 2, so I don't have
Either way, Disney is getting our money.
Oh, yeah. They're getting a lot of the money this year, for sure, from both of us.
So, yeah. I won't get into it anymore. We've already talked about why Black Panther looks awesome. I just wanted to know, after we've gone through all this stuff, what you were most excited about. And I should have known it was going to be...
Yeah, you should have known. I almost stopped you 3 words into that question to just save the time. Okay, so, really quickly, WNRDpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us any questions or episode ideas or, crummy feedback.
Or what are you guys looking forward to this year and coming in 2018? What did we miss?
Yeah. I mean, the other thing, too, is we're obviously on YouTube, WNRD Podcast on YouTube. You can search for that and subscribe. The comment section is the easiest way to interact. We're obviously always watching that, so anybody that has a comment, we may, use that to bring up during the show or use it as feedback, of course. So... email and the YouTube comments are both great for that. And then at WNRD Podcast is a Twitter handle. Mike monitors that. And then on SoundCloud/WNRD, the most recent...
Call me
Mike. He prefers to be called Michael. SoundCloud, the most recent 3 episodes are usually on there, and that's important in case you want...
At least 2, depending on how long they are.
Depending on how long they are. If you want to download them, put them on your phone or whatever and listen to them at your own convenience, that's why SoundCloud is important. Obviously, YouTube, you have to be, at least at this point in technology, you have to be connected or streaming data to listen to them on there.
Correct. Unless you have paid for the YouTube Red, then I think you can download it.
Okay. Well, then that'd be great, but...
That'd be great. But if you don't have that, like I said, we do put up at least the most... Right? We try to put the last 3 episodes up on SoundCloud, but we're limited to 180 minutes, so definitely, depending on the length of the episode, we'll have at least 2 up there, which we do have some to download, so you guys can take them with you wherever you go.
All right, so looking forward to 2018, another year of some great episodes and great nerd stuff.
That's right, we'll be seeing you.